So I'm going to represent to you that I've been stolen from by the United States Patent Office. And that doesn't mean that, direct theft or something like that. It means that they have declared that I'm not a micro entity and raised the price from their description of $365 to $8,400, I think. And that has created a problem because I don't need to pay that. Why do I have to pay that? I'm not going to pay that. So the deal is that we have to decide whether or not the U.S. Patent Office is an actual, fair, and legitimate organization. And the truth is that they're not. And so we're going to look at what they do a little bit. So I'm going to try to enlighten you on why I believe the U.S. Patent Office is stealing from me, not doing their job, and refusing to participate correctly. They're lying, cheating, and stealing. So as with every form of government we have to deal with in this United States. So anyway, this is a patent drawing, colored in, and not as exactly as it was sent, but so that you can see it a little bit better. We look over here, and here we see that the U.S. Patent Office, this is their statement to me, when able to determine what service or product you would like to obtain, do not meet the requirements for obtaining any service that we provide. That's their statement. That's our claim of fact. And I sent them this, the first thing that was included in here, and the package they sent back did not include any of that. So this is what I sent to them. Postcard and patents refiling for, they wanted it spaced a little bit wider. So I spaced it a little bit wider and resent patents 18/944-161 and 18/953-324. They're combined patents, really. Anyway, in that, certification of mailing, micro-entity status, declaration of oath, refiled specs for 18/952 and 18/941, and refiled it because you gave me no confirmation of any kind to what was sent before, and this is before the end of their mailing period. So this is from the Patent Office as it was sent to me. I opened it only enough to take out this piece of paper and the postcard that went with it that they returned. So let's see what it is. So this is what comes. This is their this label, and this is what they returned to me. So we have this is a pet climate thing. It's for a acceleration program. Anyway, this is micro entity status that was sent to them. This is utility design declaration of oath. This is the applicant response to formalities, signed. This is a certificate of mailing. Another microentity status, another oath. This is another confirmation. Let's see, this is theirs. So this is what I'm complaining about. Now we can look at it better over here, although I'm not sure where it went. Anyway, this is confirmation of that. This is their fee. They told me I called them on the phone. They told me $365, and so they ended up charging me $8,400 and said, you know, pay it. So that's for one patent. That's not for two. That's just one. So the end result of that is that you know, it's certainly not what they told me to begin with, and I demanded a you know, to go to, well, to finish this, I demanded certification in some form from them that that I had microentity status, and they would confirm that, but they refused. So anyway, this is the motor. It has the refiled, it's respaced. That's one of them. This is page 200. And this is the second one. Let's see. Priority mail. All right. They apparently did take out the 18952 one. They are climbed together, you know, they are completely put together. And one does me no good without the other. And they have no, according to their letter, they have, you know, they didn't do anything. They refused it. So what they did do is they took out the patent drawing for themselves, and they took out the you know, I forget where it is, but they took out, it really is just basically this in a smaller version without the colors. So they took that out. They took out 952, the detailed drawings of how to build the machine. The 940, you know, the first one, the 944 one, is detailed instructions about claims and things. So you know, 100 pages long. And they do not mention that. They don't want it, don't have anything to do with it. They have not been able to, they've not returned to me anything beyond this. I don't know where it's at or what it's doing. They have not returned to me any micro entity thing or oath of office or anything else. So my feeling is that they are trying to steal it. That's the facts. So in any large, this is a multi-billion or trillion-dollar method of generating electricity. That's what its purpose is. It's a redoing the fossil fuel combustion engine, which is you know, in large form, so that it, you know, run ships and things like that. So it's worth a lot of money if it in fact pans out, and the ability to steal it is very, very small, and I could pay it as they demanded. But the fact is, they said I was not microentity, and I certainly am. And the fact is that they are the patent office, and they can just have somebody change a bolt or change a word or two and put another patent on it. So it really doesn't matter, and I've been to court any number of times over different issues than this one. And it doesn't matter how much you spend, it doesn't matter what the law says. All that matters is whether or not they can close the door in your face and shut you out, because it takes an army to open the door if they won't let the law do it. And they don't. University decides everything. And of course, the end result of it is that you know, people steal. People always steal. Anyway, so I'm going to give you a little lesson in what heck with that. I want to give you a little lesson in inventing, so that in other things, so that we can recognize that I do have some inventor skills. It's not just a claim. So we're going to go with this. So I'm going to give you some ideas here, just very, very simple, crude ideas to let you think about it. For electrical generation, this is mostly for electrical generation. Anyway, we have a shore here. There are areas in this world that have a very large tidal rise and fall every day. You know, one I heard of 36 feet for one area. That's what the sea goes up and down. So if we have that kind of an area, we put a dam here. This is a shoreline. We put a dam here. And of course, we just put little holes in here where turbines and generators run. And then this is the ocean, and the ocean fills this whole dam up. And then of course, when the water recedes, the water goes back out and you can generate electricity going both directions. It's very, very simple. And since it happens all on its own every day, it's very, very effective and very, very cheap, and it will do something of value. This is a bladder design. This is an ocean, and we have a shoreline coming up here. And we have water that pushes down when the tide rises. The water will come in and push this down. The spring will push it back up, and the end result is this is a bladder. And it has an air line up here and an air engine up here, so that every time that this is pushed down, air is pumped out and into a motor, and every time it goes up, air can be pushed back in, and so on. So every time the tide goes in and out, every time a wave comes up, this is what happens. So you can push and create an engine that way. And if you have enough of them, you can create quite a bit. This is a case. This is, we'll call this coral reefs over here, and this is just two pontoons on a little A-frame up here, a little tent frame with the swinging weight. So every time that the tide, the ocean tide rises and falls, just waves rise and fall, it will move the floats up and down, and that will cause the weight to go back and forth, and that will pump water from lower depths that are colder on through the pump here and onto the coral reef here. So in one way, this one is, the tide or the wave has moved it to one side, and this one, the wave has moved it to the other side, indicating that the weight is going to move, and it's just going to have a pump up there, and we're just going to pump water in and pump water out onto the coral reefs. So then we have, you want to tear out dams, that doesn't really work. But we can use the river. It's smaller, and we can direct our flow into a tube that we put into the river and focus the small fish into that tube, and then the small fish run into that tube through it, and one of the gates of the dam is opened and closed actually with a plate, so that only the pipe is actually leaking into the water, and the small fish go out that way. It doesn't have to go through the turbines. Faster current directs the little fish into it, since fish only go through that at a certain time of the year. That's effective as well. So this is a ocean again. This is a shore, and this is tides. The waves rolling in and out, and when a wave rolls in, it pushes this down and pumps water, and when the wave goes back, it pulls it the other way and pumps, it pumps, and we pump water into a water tower here. So once we fill up the water tower, then we can release it all at once and generate electricity that way. So that's enough for lessons of the day. And we turn to this, or we'll actually turn to, this is the current state of affairs, and the current state of affairs is that we have currency and credit derivatives, which credit derivatives mean that that's the debt they're selling that they couldn't collect. So we have $723 trillion worth of currency out there. The claim of money is currency. Even debt is currency. So the end result of it is that we're trying to understand what it all means, and the end result is A cult means you never question your leader. That's, of course, the United States in a nutshell. You never question your leader. Today we have $723 trillion in U.S. debt, debtclock.org. That's currency, $101.999 trillion of actual U.S. debt. So, and $1 trillion equals $10,000 for each and every one of 100 million people. So you have a 1, and that means $10,000 to each of 100 million people, and 101 means that you have $1.01 million per each and every one of 100 million people, and that requires money laundering. You can't just throw it out there. You got to hide it somewhere. So, in the last 4 years, Biden put in $133.8 trillion dollars over that 4 years, and that means he added to the economy $1.338 million for each and every one of 100 million people. That's how he created his economy. And all the presidents since Carter have been doing that. So where do they launder it exactly? And it goes to Wall Street, where they all scream, "Don't do nothing!" And medical, which is extortion, and COVID, which is $4.6 trillion, or $46,000 per each and every one of 100 million people this last year, is what the check that you wrote these people, the university. And why did it cost that much? Because they charged that much. It's just that simple. The tree doesn't ask you to pay it when you cut it down, and neither does anything else. It is all people who charge that much. And of course the military and the university gets anything they want, as are the thieves that are running this nation. So it's all hidden taxation. Every bit of it is hidden taxation, because no employee is allowed to bankrupt us all. Particularly not during times when it isn't a war. So hidden debts, they're not real. We can't pay them. There's not enough resources. It's a finite world. And just use it to let the children pay. That's all they're doing with hidden debts, is let the children pay. But of course the children are going to face hell, basically. So we have counterfeited currency in the amount of $723 trillion. That means that if we divided it up, 100 million, it's over $2.2 million if we divided it equally per citizen. Babies and all, every single person in your household should have $2.2 million in the bank. And that means somebody thinks you're going to do an awful lot of work for them, and you don't get to choose, because they own it all. So you can't compete with counterfeiters. They can buy anything they want to. They just make the money. They don't earn it. And of course that's the true of everything that university does. They don't make any money. They just make numbers and tell you not to worry about it. So the end result is that we are being lied to, cheated, stolen from, and just like me in my little passage to let's have a patent here, and let's do something for life and world. Even if the the motor is going to be used, but it is not going to be claimed by me. I need an organization to do that. I need an organization to get it back and say that it's mine, it's not yours. And of course that means that I have to find one, because you got to have an army to open the damn door. Otherwise it won't open. So I'm offering to an organization of women, because there are a lot of women in the world and they're not committed to something else. So they're going to be 90% of all income that the machine might generate, if it proves effective, can go to you. 10% of it goes to me, if you agree to fight for life and world. I'm not going to just hand it over to a bunch of women who I don't believe in you any more than I believe in men, but you are different, and different is an absolute requirement. So So, if you're willing to fight for life and world, we'll do that, or we'll try that. We'll do the best we can at that, and let someone else decide if we failed. So anyway, that's the deal. You have to, redress is what means that's our legal avenue, our legal democracy to say, we the people shall decide now. Not you, we the people shall decide now. That's what redress is. And of course, those who want power and pride don't want anything to do with redress, and they have set me outside the court numerous times, charged me 48% interest, and so on, when demanding that you have to obey the law. But of course they don't. They just shut the door, because standing alone, I can't do anything. I can't open their door. So you have to join. And we have to, you have to understand that united means we are basically intended to be, or started out to be, or hope to be, what is a family. And a family means that I share with you and I care about you because it's it's in the benefit of us all, and that's where our happiness comes from, is because we trust each other and so on. Of course, you don't trust anyone anymore, because you have media to instruct you and teach you about all the hate and all the crime and all the failure and all the lies and all the cheating and all the stealing that you could possibly imagine. Comes right to your door every single day, and people turn it on and they want it because they're bored. But the end result, of course, is that you don't trust anybody. And of course, we have an entire nation filled with the university diploma, which is an organization that creates criminals, teaches criminals how to steal, how to manipulate, how to attempt, how to do whatever they want to do by making us slaves to them. That's what we are. We are slaves to them. They paid us with counterfeit money. They didn't pay us with anything. Even though you went to the store and you bought what you want, it was your children's lives that you sold to get that money. You sold the nation. You sold the children. You sold life on earth out. You sold a world filled with weapons of mass destruction, and you sold it with believe, fear, and obey, like COVID. A claim that doesn't make any sense at all. Ever hear of anybody having the cold anymore? No. They all have COVID. Guess what? COVID is a cold. Same thing. It's a coronavirus too. Same thing. But it is actually true that they released a biological agent against us, and they got trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars for that. They released it against us, and they got trillions of dollars for that. How is that fair? We need a true and accurate accounting. We need redress. We decide now. We need to produce the evidence and examine it in a courtroom so it's the best that we can be. And we need to identify for ourselves what is or is not to be our future. It's not a game. There are people who are completely crucifying life. That's where all your COVID dollars go. They to crucify and mutilate genetics, which is nature. It builds a body of life. And they claim that, evolution will fix it. And of course it won't, because you can't build a body one piece at a time. It has to all work at the same time, or it won't, or it'll just die. You can't have a heart without blood. You can't have a heart without muscles. You can't have anything without everything. And all the evolution ever provided was, this looks like that. So what? And of course then all the people, trillions spent for those who are, 130 major experiments, trillions of dollars across the world being spent to try to ignite atoms on fire, just like the sun here on Earth. It's going to be it's going to solve all your problems. Well, it ain't, because they're trying to ignite a 1,000,000-mile-long flame. And that means that 4 million times more. That means that a candle flame turns in 62 miles high. Think about that for a minute. A candle flame. Under that nuclear fire becomes 62 miles high, 4 million times more, just like TNT in a atomic bomb. You can't let them ignite it. If they do, it will be the end of life on Earth. It will be Hades on this planet, which is, you know, torture and fire, and, you know, you have to wake up. That's all there is to it. You have to wake up, or you're going to die. You have to change and go back to reality, decides, not fantasy and delusion, as is the university knows. Not university plays God and mutilates all life on Earth, because that'll be Armageddon, and not an apocalypse, which is water for water. So we're talking about the theft of a patent, actually 2 patents. And this is a note that they returned to me. It does have their little statement down here on the bottom. And also, if you can see it, right here is where they removed the seal that they once put on it. Somebody put it on when they got it, and then, you know, other people got it, and they removed the seal so they could claim that they didn't get it, or that they could claim that none of the things that they received had any value at all, and they didn't know what to do with it, so they could steal it. And you can say, "Well, I don't believe you. You know, this is the U.S. government. They wouldn't do that." But they're just people. They're just employees. They're just, you know, former classmates, and, you know, it represents the potential of $1 billion or more just to me. So, you know, the people that want to steal $1 billion are, you know, many. And that's just the facts of it, as we can see from the statements or any kind of accounting that is current to the United States. We have $723 trillion worth of currency in play. That's $2.2 million divided equally to every citizen. 340 million of us. $2.2 million. There's no way back from all that counterfeiting, because it has no reality. Therefore, it's counterfeit money. It has no reality. Can you get $2.2 million from a baby? No, but, you know, divided equally, each baby has $2.2 million. And there are all those people out there who think they have all this money, but they have nothing. They just have numbers. Money is a promise to work. I work for you, therefore I have the right to expect something back from you, which is money. And then, of course, money has no value. There is no work to be done unless there are resources. And, of course, that's how they have been fueling the economy, is to completely wreck the resources. To hire the university graduate, even though they have nothing for them to do. It's just a game. And the end result is that we stand at the critical point of human history. That is, if we don't stand up for our world, if we don't stand up for life in our world, if we don't stand up for our nation, we're going to be extinct. And you can say whatever you want to about that, but the end result of it is that it's a finite planet. There's only room for so many people, just as it's always been. You know, there's only room for so many people in a certain area, and then when they overrun it and completely destroy it, then there's no resources left, and so they have to move. And they move into somebody else's land, which they don't like, so there's war, because, you know, I have to eat, I want things, so we'll take yours. That's what war is, we'll take yours. So the end result of it is, of course, that you know,